Hello, everyone. I'm Major Garrett in Washington. Tonight on America Decides.
I'm Tom McKenzie in London. These are the stories that set your agenda.
Cards are being redistributed between the United States and Europe. In recent days, the ties between Washington and Brussels have become tighter than ever. As President Donald Trump continues to impose aggressive tariffs to reduce the United States trade deficit, signals from Europe are getting tougher. So, how is the European Union responding to this tension? The European Union has been cautiously following Trump's trade policies for a long time. However, recent developments suggest that Brussels' patience is wearing thin. How will Europe respond to Trump's trade strategy? Having backed down on tariffs before, how will the European Union proceed this time? Amid tensions with Mexico and Canada, Europe is now putting its own list of sanctions on the table, saying we will not give in to Trump's tariffs. The European Union has made such a move that Washington's tariffs on iron, steel, and other imported goods against the European Union have suddenly become ineffective. According to the latest developments, the European Commission has officially approved a $28 billion retaliatory package against the tariffs that United States President Donald Trump plans to impose or has already imposed.
Applying tariffs worth $28 billion, we are responding with countermeasures worth 26 billion euros.
Will this showdown turn into an economic storm for both sides? This time, everything could be different. How will Europe's expected move push Washington into a corner? Now we're going into the details. First, let us briefly summarize the European Union-United States tension. In recent years, United States President Donald Trump, relying on the slogan "America First," has imposed additional tariffs on imports from many countries.
It's going to be only America first. America first.
Moves such as 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum, additional tariffs on automotive parts, and new taxes on agricultural products have driven a wedge between the United States and its trading partners. Trump's justification is to protect domestic producers and reduce trade deficits. However, the European Union called it protectionism, and contrary to international trade rules, and signaled countersteps. Now those signals are turning into reality with a $28 billion retaliatory package. This package means responding to sanctions with sanctions in the European Union's tariff confrontation. In other words, if Washington imposes tariffs on European steel, automobiles, and agricultural products, the European Union will impose tariffs on American products at the same rate or even more. The European Commission's Trade Partnership and Retaliation Committee has spent months working out which American products to target. These include motorcycles from famous brands, alcoholic beverages, agricultural products, and even technology products. Thus, the European Union is sending a clear message that we will not leave it unanswered. The $28 billion package, how is it shaped? The figures released by the European Commission show that the retaliatory package aims to create a total economic impact of $28 billion. This means that the moment Trump's tariffs go into effect, we will impose additional duties on the following list of American products. It is said to cover sectors ranging from American metal exports to agriculture, luxury, and technology. European Union officials say they will gradually announce to the public which products they will tax and how much. But what is clear is that the list includes quite a few so-called symbolic American products. This is likely to spark a debate in United States domestic politics about how much Europeans used to buy from us and who will suffer now. In addition, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said, such tariffs would set back the United States-European Union relationship, but we cannot give in. We also hear messages from German, French, Italian, and Spanish leaders that if Trump takes unilateral steps, we will respond. The European press said this $28 billion package is a symbolic start. It can be increased even more. After all, Europe is one of the biggest markets for the United States, and these retaliatory measures could cause considerable damage to American exports. What is the reaction from the Trump camp? After learning the news of these retaliations, the White House made statements that we will win this trade war. The European Union will back down. The United States Secretary of Commerce asked, do they realize that if the European Union implements this decision, American businesses will be hurt? In essence, the Trump administration seems to be saying, does Europe not take us that seriously? Some American commentators say that such retaliation could fuel inflation in the United States economy and lead to job losses, especially in agriculture and manufacturing. After all, Europe is one of the world's largest importers of United States products. If trade flows are blocked by tariffs, American manufacturers could lose a huge market. But Trump's argument is that our trade deficit is too large, and the European Union would be the one to suffer. Inside the United States, this step is being interpreted as Trump has completely turned against the European Union in his trade war. It is a strategic mistake to alienate Europe with tariffs, some members of Congress say. Others say the president is right. The European Union has been blocking United States products for a long time. Business lobbies are worried because the potential loss of a huge export market could cost American companies dearly. In short, there are grumblings in Washington too. But Trump seems inclined not to back down, saying, "I promise my voters I want fair trade." What about the Union of European countries and internal debates and concerns? It is also known that some countries within the European Union are worried that I will suffer the most in the tension with the United States. For example, the United States is a critical market for Germany's automotive exports. France's wine industry is also dependent on United States consumers. Italy, Spain, and the Netherlands also have interests in different areas. But the European Commission said, if we act individually, we lose. Our strength is greater if we act in unity. The Commission is trying to keep all members in a common position. For the moment, we are seeing European Union solidarity. No one is saying, let us make a separate deal with the United States. The European public opinion is saying, Trump already does not get along with anyone because of trade disputes. If we stand together, we will win. Tariffs from the United States based on national security feel like an insult to Europeans. We are friends and allies. How can we be a national security threat? So this $28 billion package is not only an economic challenge, but also a political one. The European Union is saying, if you threaten us, we will undermine your economic interests. Some observers say that a new era of cold trade between the United States and the European Union could begin. A full-blown trade war would shake both the United States and European Union economies, because they are perhaps the two largest blocks of global trade. Trade between them exceeds $1 trillion a year. In this giant relationship, a rise in tariffs could lead to mutual price increases, costs to consumers, disruptions in production chains, and layoffs between companies. This effect would ripple out to the rest of the world. Especially at a time of global recession and inflationary concerns, such barriers are not good for anyone. So how did the European Union decide to retaliate against the risk of losing the United States market due to tariffs? Political honor on the one hand, and issues such as trade imbalance with the United States on the other. Trump is not just intimidating, he can enforce. Giving in would lead to even greater losses. This sounds like a bold move, but the European Union is generally known for its peaceful stance. This means that the European Union is determined not to accept unilateral pressure from the Trump administration. This is a message that says our market is also big, we can be as strong as you. The $28 billion package has now been approved, but this does not immediately mean that it will be implemented. The European Commission says, if the Trump administration actually imposes its tariffs, we will impose them the next day. So it is kind of like a weapon at the ready. After a week or two, news may come that the parties sat down at the table and an agreement was reached. There have been last-minute compromises in similar tensions before, but it is also possible that the parties could not come to an agreement and tariffs were imposed on both sides. Then a full-scale trade war would officially begin. It is unclear who would suffer and how much, given the intertwined economies of the two sides, but probably everyone would lose. Past experience shows that trade wars often end in a showboating to the public, then deal at the table. Trump likes the tactic of let us get tough first, then get a discount. The European Union side says, we have been patient enough, we will not back down. If necessary, it looks like a confrontation is on the cards. Perhaps this is a way for the two giant economies to create a bargaining table for a new trade agreement. Who knows, there may soon be news that the United States-European Union trade agreement has been revised. Tariffs have been withdrawn. Nevertheless, the approval of the $28 billion retaliation plan is the European Union's message that this time we are serious. It remains to be seen what kind of solution will be found in a few weeks or months. Perhaps diplomatic talks will accelerate before the European Commission moves to full implementation. Maybe the retaliation list will be partially implemented and then a temporary agreement model will be found. In the end, businesses, consumers, and the labor market may pay the price. For now, there is the $28 billion rest on the stage. What do you think about this? Is the European Union right? Are Trump's tariffs unfair? Will this package really come into effect, or is it just a bargaining chip on the table? Let us see whether this tension between the European Union and Trump will evolve into a permanent agreement or a